Okay, tonight's fable is a very special one. It focuses on the Sunken Castle. Our heroes have had the Sunken Castle in their sights for some time. But tonight, a plan will unfold that will require potentially multiple parties, forming some sort of prongs of a multi-pronged attack towards this Sunken Castle. What will happen tonight will dictate the next couple of sessions that we'll play and the adventures that will unfold. So with that, we see ourselves surrounded by a few heroes. I assume outside roughly Arventa, some ways away from our outpost. We see these adventurers gathering, discussing, presumably around this Terra Slider, this strange arcane vehicle that has the power to surf along the sands, utilizing an earth elemental and strange magical powers. It has had the ability to submerge itself and resubmerge and surface itself. It's a strange thing that as adventurers, you've only managed to get a hold of and control of, but haven't truly quite figured out completely. Perhaps that's one thing you'd like to pursue. Another thing that you'd like to pursue in all of this are the skeletal diplomats, these skeleton creatures that were locked up in the lost citadel of the Scarlet/Onyx Minotaur, now captured and controlled under the outpost of Arventa. And lastly, the Packmates of the Gnolls that are under the subjugation of the zealous vision voyagers that have taken hold of this Sunken Castle, have staked a target on the very pack itself, aiming for an assault on the ones that you have called the pack mates yourself. So with that, there's these multiple efforts that are of concern. What do we see? Who do we see? And what are they doing at this very site? Go ahead, Brandon, introduce your characters. Your character tonight.
Yep, casually leaning against the Terra Slider, you see the familiar silhouette, cloak billowing in the breeze, of Elarius, of the Full Base Argentum. Fighter, archer, scout, packmate of the Gnolls, and devotee of Paravas. This indescribable force calls him to the Sunken Castle as he strategizes with his party mates.
And you will be holding the obelisk of the old world. Perhaps we'll learn more about Paravas, Elarius' position in the old world. Errol, go ahead, describe your character. What do we see? What are they doing?
So, yes, so both of the members of the circle that we know are here. Obviously, what we're going to embark on tonight will determine who goes where. But we have Jagged Edge, the half-orc fighter, who is also one of the packmates after his adventures near the Sunken Castle. And there's also Herman Roth, the thief, who is kind of leading the circle, and I believe actually captured or helped capture the Terra Slider some time ago. And so Jagged Edge would of course want to be fighting alongside or on behalf of the Gnolls if it came to that. Meanwhile, if the Terra Slider were involved, Herman, who I think acquired that special key that sort of activated the dagger, right? That activated the diving feature that allowed it to go into the earth. He's very intrigued, very interested, so maybe that would be a separate mission or force, and he would probably be a part of that.
Pick a hand, and we will learn about one of your characters' hopeful futures.
All right.
Okay, and our last character, Mark, go ahead, describe this character.
So walking up on the Terra Slider, through the waves of heat through the desert, you see a chainmail-laden figure, taller than you might expect, long black hair flowing behind her, a green face, and a severe but somewhat confident smile. You are meeting for the first time at the table today, Arquira, a member of the 214th Mission Field.
And maybe we'll learn about Arquira's childhood as you gain your luck token here. So this Terra Slider, it's a box of rock and stone. It's like, feels like a compact, mobile boulder. It has egresses and entrances that you guys have learned about, and seems to have this exhaust port that opens and closes. It's like a very intricately designed, but at the same time, it looks very crude, like out of the natural world itself. The boulder has risen up, and underneath it seems to have like a life of its own as it's churning the sands and the ground and the earth underneath it. So what do you guys want to do? You meet this Arquira character of the 214th. You're still debating your characters who would like to go tonight, but what do you guys, out of character, in character, what are you thinking overall needs to get done for this assault on the Sunken Castle?
Any thoughts? As I said, you know how my two characters are kind of divided. So if we took one of those two routes, maybe an above ground and below ground route, that would determine what I would do. But I propose maybe one of the two. Either that or finding out more about the diplomats, the skeletons.
Now, if memory serves me correctly, Herman is a charming fellow, yes?
Yes.
I think there may be a way that Herman could convince the skeletal diplomats to, I don't know, engage with the individuals in the castle. Perhaps make nice with them, either get them to drop their guard or create some sort of diversion that might enable the activities that we've been talking about, the gnolls to perhaps attack from the rear, if that's happening to the front of the structure. And again, with the slider, which we don't know the full capabilities of at this stage.
Yeah, your experience with it has been rudimentary at best, and because it was already under the control and function of the Preservation Syndicate. And I'd imagine some time has passed since then. You've managed to move it around, but it hasn't really been pushed to the pedal to the metal. It hasn't really been pushed to its limit yet. So you guys are still exploring this, which could be a whole experience in its own right. I imagine in all of this, you got the diplomats in some way, and you guys can fill in the gaps there, whether it was through the Terra Slider or through just going into Arventa and, hey, you're coming with us.
I think a very quick recap. So there are these two factions that are sort of opposed to us. The Zealous Vision Voyagers, who control the Sunken Castle, right?
Which Herman and the Circle seem to have some affinity towards,
right?
Because of the crest that they bear.
The ancient crest.
Is of a crest that the Circle recalls from the old world, the old continent.
Good point, right?
Despite being aeons apart and never being inhabited before, or like this place is a forgotten land for what seems to be aeons, but yet they share a similar crest, and you've only come across undead and whatnot, but that's very telling of some element of time that has transcended. That's
right.
One
so
that
that's the
Zealous
Vision Voyagers. Are the diplomats, the skeletons, a part of that?
Yes.
Okay, so they are part of that.
Correct, and they have come to the Lost Citadel at some point to negotiate something.
Right.
And it seems that they are interested in establishing a supply line of, you learned about this metal Gruthiel, this metal that is being mined and it is utilized in amplifying agony. And what you managed to infiltrate the Sunken Castle with, you saw that it was being utilized there. Captain was the point person to manage and operate what seems to be a large mining operation within the Sunken Castle. And that is a key figure in all of this Sunken Castle.
Can I grab a pencil?
Yeah. So that's just the Zealous Vision Voyagers, the factions that exist here. Then from back home, like rats on a ship as the metaphor I use, the Preservation Syndicate has also reared its ugly head here, doing its best to navigate and explore the lands for their own selfish purposes as well. and you have acquired the Terra Slider from them. They seem to have a dig site that you have infiltrated at one point, and it has grown larger and larger. And from what you know of this Preservation Syndicate back home, this seems in their alleyway, but at the same time, their actions seem far more abusive towards a land that has yet to be fully understood and explored. But they are obviously gunning and vying for some sort of control, whether it's over these objects and artifacts or far more, whether it's the land and territory or a power far deeper than that. So you're positioning yourselves as multiple factions within Arventa, wondering how best to push away various opposing forces or ally yourself with certain forces. So all this to say, the skeletal diplomats are we're ready. It's about time. You know, they have just been waiting for whomever in this lost citadel to find them, and upon doing so, are ready to begin negotiations. You have stopped the Preservation Syndicate from taking them over, because that's why you guys infiltrated last time. So they're, okay, if the Preservation Syndicate would have had taken them over, who knows what sort of repercussions that could have come from that. So with that, you have that weird neutral positioning of the diplomats, but they're not under your control by any stretch of the means. They represent the Sunken Castle, and they're ready to.
So possibly charmed by Herman. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, the only thing I can really offer right now is that, I mean, I'd be happy to be part of the negotiations. Arquira may be a poor example of the fighter in the classical sense, but she is in fact able to talk her way through a number of situations. So would be able to lend herself to that effort.
So a fighter?
Yes.
Okay.
For all intents and purposes, a very piss poor fighter, but good in some other unexpected ways.
And I even put on the table here, I could even imagine you guys setting up certain things for future sessions. I send the not character you're playing tonight with the diplomats, with your second, third character of the 214th, that's nebulous and unformed, with an unnamed, unmentioned Volpes Argentum. But tonight, where these three are gonna do that.
Right.
So I just throw that out there, and I like to imagine it could be setting up like we have the certain quest cards with the checkpoints. You're setting up your own quest card with your own checkpoint that we want this to happen by 2 sessions from now. Whatever that might be, I'm open to ideas.
Okay, so I like the idea of trying to talk to the diplomats and establish some kind of advantage at the same time. So there maybe isn't another character to play for certain people, right?
Unless that's the adventure you want to do tonight.
Right, I guess we could do that.
It's up to you. Since you said, like, I'd imagine you could explore here's the way I see it, the Terra Slider, something that you could use to manipulate because you want to infiltrate that castle. That's this whole thing in a nutshell. You want to go take the diplomats and have them negotiate with the gates of the castle. That's the whole thing in itself too. You want to make mention to the gnolls to have retaliation towards the onslaught and be prepared at the high moon to launch when the moon's at its highest. That's a smaller thing that could just be said that it's happening, and we focus on one of these first two.
Right. So I guess the issue I see is, like, Herman wants to go with the Terra Slider. However, Elarius would probably be more inclined to go with the gnolls.
And I would be inclined to hear things out with the skeletons, the skeletal diplomats.
Right. So if we have
everyone going in separate directions.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. It seems like we're at a kind of difficult spot. Although I don't know. I guess we could bring everyone along and.
To be fair, Arquria does have some character motivation to kind of to piggyback off one of you two, just because she's still trying to figure out what in the world has happened to her predecessor. So it wouldn't take much, even though that would be where she would best be used as a tool. She could theoretically go with you, just to be prepared for a lot of what happened to my friend. What happened to Gallivan.
I think he has some treasure too, that little thing we found last time. I think it's in the envelope underneath.
Yes. Could the surface level activities happen simultaneously? We set the skeleton diplomats up, the Gnoll Pack attacks as that's happening, and then we cut to what is happening with the slider.
Yeah, I imagine all that could happen.
Alright.
The Terra Slider being the most serious of it all. And then another session would be the diplomats and the resolution of that. And then the culmination of the actual assault with the Gnolls having been signaled and positioned.
All right, so do we want to convince these skeletal diplomats to...
Maybe we can all
part of this
go on,
plan?
like, all
Yeah,
of
let's
us,
do this
the
as a
unnamed
group.
characters and named characters can all get on the Terra Slider, and maybe we can make our way over there. And while we're doing that, we can talk to the diplomats.
Yeah.
I think that's a good move.
What's the goal with the diplomats? What do you mean convince them? What are you trying to do?
Well, they're not under our control. So in terms of getting them to engage with the Sunken Castle, with either a message that we plant or with some sort of timeline or motivation that is advantageous to us, right? We're gonna have to convince them, lie to them, do something to make them either a willing or unwilling participant in our subterfuge.
And you want to do that in the Terra Slider while you're infiltrating the castle? And
Not
they'll-
necessarily, but like en route back. Because if we're at Arventa, we have to travel over to the castle. So this could be like we're traveling to the castle.
Okay, then on the flip side, what's the ultimate goal with the Terra Slider?
Ultimate goal? To go in from below, I think.
With the diplomats or without?
No, we would drop the diplomats
Yeah.
off to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
our pawns or allies.
Yeah, I kind of think it's like, all right, we Terra Slider over. Everyone gets out who's getting out.
Yep,
People
yep.
stay in. Go under. The other group goes to the front door.
Yeah, okay.
Very
Yep.
Boston Silver line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I would imagine in this world, across the basalt deserts, you can easily skiff your way across the sands with the Terra Slider and everything you've mentioned with the skeletons and the named and unnamed characters loaded up as you need them, as you see fit. So your plan is unfolding as we speak. So you can send out, I assume, the unnamed characters with the skeletal diplomats to do what you want in the castle. Is that fair?
Well, fill me in just because I've been
Yeah.
a little bit like, what are we trying to convince them? Like, have we figured out where we're going to attack and like what we want, what message we want the diplomats to carry?
Right. I don't think we have.
That's what. Yeah, that's
what
what.
we have to establish. I
Right.
think.
And it doesn't have to be tonight.
Right.
It could be at a different time. But
Right.
that is now in motion.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we can find out what we want them to do next time.
Exactly.
All right, so-
But this is a part of that multi-pronged plan where we have this. It's going over there with X, Y, and Z to do this thing, but we'll save that for another time.
Okay. So I think we might get the Gnolls to try and go in the back or sabotage the guard. Maybe like reverse the sabotage. Because they sabotaged us. Now do a little sabotage on them.
Oh, reverse sabotage.
Or, whatever.
Sounds good.
Yeah. 2 of the 3 characters are kind of invested in
Yeah.
that.
I think so, yeah. Perhaps as stage 1 here, it would be helpful to, I don't know, eliminate the rooftop guards, because they're certainly the most likely to spot someone coming from an unexpected direction.
Okay.
And so maybe that's how the assault opens, is the Gnolls, we know they like battle, might take some convincing to have them go in quietly at the beginning, but scale the walls, take the roof.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. The Gnolls are unaware of the pending assault and are preparing for their northern moon, the Naraya, and the highest point is where they gather. So that would be a point, not of contention, but that's what has their attention.
I mean, we can tell them, right, that they're...
I'm just letting you know that these are the things that you guys would have to engage and undo or
Let's go talk to Thazoon.
Yep.
And so, Thazoon, have you encountered?
No, I've only been to, I believe, the Citadel?
Let me set the scene for you, Mark. In the distance, you see this castle surrounded by these stacks of hoodoo rocks and cliff faces, and in the center, if you will, is a castle in the desert, half submerged in the dark sands. And around this castle are small encampments within the rock faces and in makeshift camps and tents filled with kobolds and gnolls and these dog-like creatures that have been living on the very edge of life itself. And they are held on to dear life by the undead forces that control this castle. And with that, you notice as Arquria enters these encampments off in the distance from the castle, do they acknowledge Elarius and
Jagged Edge?
You're going with Jagged Edge
Tonight. Yes.
Okay, yeah. Elarius and Jagged Edge, do they see the fact that these long snouts and these shagged, mangy gnolls that walk upright but have the ability to hunch over on all fours, look at these two as fellow brethren, and even though they look like they would bite your arm off in hunger, do they step aside for these two that have joined their ranks and their packs?
So what's the greeting towards Arquria? Is it warm? Is it distant? Is it aloof? Is it
standoffish?
Standoffish.
Yeah.
Okay, so they do acknowledge that I'm coming, and they tend to keep their distance.
Yeah, no reason to engage you, but Elarius enters our pack again, and some of them acknowledge, Jagged Edge, one that we fight with, and they rabble-rouse. You people, all these little kobolds, and Giggles and Shiggles and Gicks are amongst this group as well. They're found friendly kobold and spider companion.
This sounds like exactly the kind of crowd that Gallivan would find himself in. Life would be.
Who?
Gallivan, the other member of the 214th.
Do you know what she's talking about? I know the 214th.
It seems like, I don't know. I can't place it. No,
Curious.
You. Obviously, there must be some level of injury or forgetfulness wandering around this. Anyways, I guess I can talk to you later about Gallivan, but how can I help? I assume that he would want the assistance in whatever cause is going out here. It seems that, true to form, he has found the needy and he looks to assist them.
Sure. That sounds like something the 214th would want to do, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You speak of need, and these are, in fact, there's a lot of need to go around in this camp, but a lot of fire and passion and anger as well.
What puts them in this state?
They are kept under the thumb of those who live in the castle.
This sounds more and more like him with every passing second. Okay. How might I help?
So a group of gnolls, acknowledge, and you must be here to see Thazoon.
That we are. Please.
We can only bring you to Kalazan, the pack leader of the current time.
Okay. Let us go investigate this.
She issues a very crisp salute to the gnoll that has approached.
As you salute, you can see there's just a reflection, and the fangs get bare, and they look towards you two as
Jagged Edge kind of chuckles at this exchange.
You might be better off with this. Oh.
Oh.
You can see the fangs kind of, they slowly get tucked away, but they're little.
Jagged Edge always appreciates other people's discomfort, so he's just kind of amused at this awkward situation that he is not the source of for once.
If you fight with Elarius, we'll take our eyes off of you for now.
No, he's okay. She's okay.
I only wish to be of service.
Well, if you fight with him, then you fight with us. We can trust her.
We can.
And they start leading you into a different sort of tunnel. It's I'd say it's like more bare bones than the fine, elaborate Colosseum that you guys fought in. This one is filled with fallen skulls, like mounted on the walls of the tunnel itself. And they're obviously all gnoll skulls, kobold skulls. There's crevices open for, the next fallen soul, but they're scattered throughout as you're starting to go into this long chamber of memory, I guess you could say. And you can see that this person you're following is just looking at each one of these skulls and just growling, almost like a guttural, acknowledgement at each one of them as you guys start going deeper and deeper into the darkness. And your light starts dwindling.
Jagged Edge is genuinely confused. Do you know all of these people?
I do not know them directly, but I know them in spirit. Our fallen brothers and sisters, those that we've managed to get our hands on, we place their skulls here in memory.
Jagged Edge is kind of puzzled, but...
Do you have any other memory of them?
Only the stories we've told. If we save their memories, then they are alive.
And what of the memory of Thazun?
Thazun, we do not know. Kalazan will tell you more.
Okay. Well then, let us press on.
Going into the inner chamber, you can see that Kalazan, who looks a little bit beefier now. Looks like he's had some better training and better nutrition as far as what can be scrounged together. Since having seen him last, he was emaciated and in chains, and now he seems to be training with the bow that he was given. And here he's, taking shots, shooting it into empty alcoves, like pulling out the arrow and.
Arquira is taking notes on his technique and on essentially anything she sees around her.
Yeah, it's very dark, I might add. So you can just see shadows of this. They're navigating in the darkness. Who's gonna light the torch here?
Jagged Edge will light the torch up.
All right. So upon lighting the torch, do you, make your presence known, if you will, and our torches here run in an hour of real time, so we'll see where we end up in an hour. And making yourself known, does Thazun or Kalazan, I smelled you before you came in. Elarius, Jagged Edge, show yourself. Bringing your orb of light, you can see, yeah, he's donned in a ceremonial paint of sorts. It's ground. It looks shimmery, but at the same time, completely black oil. But it has flecks of silver metal within it, and he's got his face painted in it. This long snout just seems to have lines all over it.
Kalazan, you look well, my friend.
I have been training since you have given me the honor of fighting with the bow, and fires off a shot. I worry that it must be used quickly tonight. I have donned myself in our ceremonial paint. Our mask, as you might call it, filled with Gruthiel, the metal that we have mined with our bare hands and claws. It is in honor of Thazun.
What happened?
We did not expect it to happen, but those in that castle abducted him, came in between. They have come to us and taken our greatest heart. And so I train one last time here.
Well, that's opportune, because we're gonna need some help.
And his ears perk up. What kind of help?
Elarius?
We plan to take back the castle and restore to you what is rightfully yours, and rightfully belonging to all who have the beast heart. To accomplish this, we have allies, but we will need the strength of the pack as part of this great battle that is before us.
You speak of battle, of war. I have only been training to defend our pack. You speak of going to the front lines. Where will this take place?
I would propose that we assault the rear of the castle. We will start quietly under moonlight. We will remove those who would spot us from afar. This is a small pack that we would take to do this. Once the surface and rooftop is clear, then we can begin the actual assault on the rear gate. Our allies will occupy those at the front, and with the help of this device that we have procured, some will tunnel in under the surface, perhaps not only to engage the enemy within, but also potentially to find Thazun.
The southern moon will not be brightest until a couple months from now. You don't propose the northern moon, do you?
I propose whatever moon is in the sky.
The darkness may be our friend. It may be a source of...
Who is this that speaks? Just cut you off immediately.
A friend. Please.
An ally and warrior who will help us.
They have yet to help us. I take your word. Do they allow the ability to speak?
Why not?
They are not our packmate, they are yours.
That should be good enough.
Oh.
Sort of reverberates around. Your heart swells, but your mouth lies.
Please forgive me. I have studied many a people, but none such as yourselves.
Show us your skill.
All right. What sort of skill would you like me to display?
And he sort of like channels in like these figments, like almost like training spirits of like fallen brethren, like appear. They're like almost spectral.
Very well. You permit me to draw my weapon.
You will not harm them. They are merely here to show your skill. The memory of our brethren live on, but they do not aid us on this earth, except to show exceptional skill.
So, Arquria will adapt a kneeling pose to start, as if in prayer. One of the few things she probably took from the actual religious practices of the two were together. She will start there, and she will wait for the next moves from the spirits.
So you can see immediately that these spirits, you know, and they're shredded. Their flesh is hanging off, and even though there's these spectral forces, they look like they've just fallen off the battlefield. You know, their arms are torn, and they just summon these ragged, jagged sorts of bone blades and just these leather shields. They just, and you can see that whatever lungs and flesh they have starts surging as they sort of gain this demonic rage, as they just, their eyes flare and their nostrils just widen and foam from their mouths, and they just start moving closer and closer to you, disregarding these two completely. What do you two do?
Elarius will reach into his pack, grab a handful of crushed flowers, grind them in his hands, and start mimicking Calazan's paint.
Okay. Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge takes his torch and sticks it in a kind of like a little crack in the rocks and kind of leans back on the wall and is watching what's going on.
How casual. And you can see, you know, as you sort of lean back, these forces just keep their sights set on you. One of them, they kind of eye what Elarius is doing, and a little ear, you know, in question just kind of turns, because he's doing a ritual, but he's not a gnoll. So what's he doing here? And they just bear down on you, just looking to draw first blood.
At the closest second possible, Arquria will dodge from that position. Let's see.
You're just moving out of the way.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
Move.
Are you remaining defensive, or are you gonna try to attack?
No, Arquria will not attack in the slightest. She will continue to dodge repeatedly for as long as she can without laying weapon or hit on any of the spirits.
Okay, so let's see, just in terms of your dodge, these guys are just gonna try to attack you.
Okay, sounds good. So
Do you have like a dodge thing or something? Or what?
I don't have dodge as a talent. I figure I can just dex check against that. No, would that make sense?
If you're just gonna be defensive, I'll just give you a +1 to your armor class.
Okay, fair enough. Then that will be a 13.
Okay, sure. These guys get +1. Both 14 right there.
Okay.
And raging, these guys. Okay. What's going on here?
Elarius thinks back to a time on the old continent in the forest with his father learning to fight. And thinks about how he was trained to move just the slightest bit out of the way of an incoming attack. And sort of channeling that memory, locks eyes with Arquria as that blow is incoming, as if to non-verbally communicate the angle that the attack is coming in at.
Let's see if it's good enough for Arquria to gain that telepathic message and move out of the way. Natural one. Something about this connection here, and you can see that the spirits just attack that would have just bold-faced struck you from the side, and you just, like a organized pack, if you will, and the spirit like shudders a second, like their blade just like bends in space and time, and you can see that they recoil in this sort of like, and they drop this one drops its weapon, like as if to say, like, you are a packmate. A well-timed, well-placed luck token, making a hit to a critical miss, earns you the instant win on this one spectral gnoll. What do you do now?
I will continue. I'm not sure. Well, are they continuing to bear down?
Not this one. We'll consider this one nullified. Spirit
Nullified, if you will.
nullifies
No.
and completely becomes one with the undead forces around it, as if to say there's something here, because you communicated like a pack would, enough for him to recognize you are worthy. Calazan is What are you doing? This is unlike a tactic we have seen. It's like prodding you on, as if goading you, of trying to upset you and inquire deeper into what you are trying to do.
Your packmate showed respect to those that have gone before you, and I wish to show the same.
Your respect has no bearing on the battlefield. Show us what you're made of and see if you can join. Clearly the spirit has aligned with you, but you still face one more. If you are bold enough to stand your ground. What's Jagged Edge doing?
So Jagged Edge was before pretty neutral, but seeing that really impressive, moment where they seem to have had a connection, he kind of reconsiders that maybe Arquria is, has something beneath the surface. And, considering that after all, they're both half-orcs, which somehow he didn't notice before the interlude where we were talking about it. He's now, of course, realized that. And so he says, do you have a free hand?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so he says, as the other one is kind of gearing up for an attack, "Sister!" and throws his mithril shield at Arquria.
All right, I'll go ahead and catch that.
Yeah, flies through the air. Arquria dons it. Let's see if it's good enough to provide an attack. A bonus against this attack. Oh, natural 3.
Yeah.
So your armor class is far beyond that, and you can just, the spirits just strike against the shield itself, and the spectral forces just wash over you, and you can see how the foam of this beast just looms down. Even though it's just an image, it's just the force is heavy against you. What do you do?
Keep blocking. I refuse to take out my sword, and if they make contact with me, it will be with blocks and pivots and without any retaliatory action.
Sure. I'm calling this, 1 failed strike, 2, I guess, because it missed the other time too. So 3 strikes and it's out, but if it lands a hit, it's going to keep its momentum going. What are you guys doing? You just tossed the shield?
Growling like a gnoll as I continue to don the ceremonial paint.
To bolster your
And
pack
Jagged
mate.
Edge knows that a half-orc's fight is their own, so he's done enough for his fellow packmate for now, and so he's back to watching this unfold.
Let's see.
Okay.
18 plus more than enough to hit you.
Oh, definitely more than enough to hit.
This spectral blade bears down with the rage of unbelievable demons for 4 damage upon you.
Very good.
Bearing deep within your skin. It's one of those, it's like a figment of an attack. Your body, because it slices open or whatever, or you're strained and moving beyond this deadly attack. So this is all kind of a simulation, if you will, but
Sure.
enough to represent a serious weight on your life. What do you do? What are you thinking about?
I'm still thinking about that moment that Gnoll was having with his ancestors and how it would be a shame. I know that I'm conflicted because I know that I've been giving instruction, but Arquira's never really been good about taking instruction, and that her heart's kind of convicting her to hold her ground until the last, until it is absolutely unfeasible. So she will attempt again to rebuff this attack, but only defensively.
Sure, yeah, you're gaining the bonus from the shield and this +1 bonus from the
Plus
attack.
one,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So what's the total on that?
14 altogether.
14 with the shield?
12 normally, +1 because I'm defending, and then plus another 1 for the shield.
Okay.
If that works.
No armor or anything?
That AC should factor in my chain. Yeah, chain.
Jamie.
All right. Elarius, you're bolstering your packmate as best as you can. Jagged Edge is taking a sidestep to all this, knowing the faith in half-orc kinsmen could be fruitful in all of this. Let's see. 19. 18 before, 19. The rage on this gnoll is bolstering. Let's see. With the extra damage from the spiritual sword, 5 damage. What are you at? What's your hit points at?
So that takes me down to 3.
3. Okay, Arquria is staggering, is faltering. Her life energy is wavering. Kalazan is doing his best to just be as timid as possible, sort of taking a page out of Thazun. Like, you can see he wants to join his spiritual brothers to join in the attack and the assault because but he knows a wise leader needs to stand back. And this is your packmate that you ally yourself with. They can barely stand their ground. Let the spiritual forces decide a packmate isn't worthy, and you will see.
Let us see how it plays out.
What do you do?
Well, in response to that attack, Arquria lets out a very full-throated "Awoo!"
And it reverberates and echoes through the chamber itself, and even Thazun is like taken aback, like his ears, or his Kalazan is at his ears, pinned back. Your packmate has found the heart and the full-throated voice.
Something stirs within Elarius. He draws the longsword and holds it up so Arquria can see the etchings. There's a glint from the symbol of Geed with a spear etched over it towards the base.
In the torchlight by Jagged Edge, does the glint of the torchlight catch this symbol etched in Elarius's sword?
And Jagged Edge takes Vigilant off his back.
Just reflexively.
It also has some symbolism, and seeing the Geed symbol, even though he's not, particularly attached to this deity, just remembers something about something, and just instinctively pulls out the spear and sets it in front of himself, kind of on the ground, but almost in like a guarding position, facing, of course, these other two.
Your other allies don these weapons, these symbols, and from within you, you feel Galavan. It's as if he was here. His hand grab Vigilant, and you see his radiant force emanate from the symbol. I'm going to give you a +1 bonus to armor class for this. I'm going to give you another +1 to this, and because of your beautiful howl, this creature will roll at disadvantage and have no bonuses. What would be your armor class?
So, the +1s are going to them or to me?
To you. They're giving you a +1 bonus.
+1.
So then on top of the
Plus the shield.
Plus the shield, plus the additional that you gave me originally, or no?
Yep.
Then that'll be 16.
16, and I'm rolling with disadvantage on the 2d20. 2 strikes out of 3. Should this spectral force roll a miss, it will deem you worthy as a packmate, and you will join your brethren and Kalazan as a fellow packmate. Should it strike a hit, I'm sure it'll deal enough damage. That's the second round. We'll get to that if it were to hit. Disadvantage. Straight number, as is. I need a 16.
Yep.
I need to roll at least 2 16s because I'm going to take the lower.
She will hold her ground. She will hold her ground.
10 and 2. A blatant miss. And as the sword passes by you, you can just feel it. You duck out of the way, and you can just feel Galavan's protection around you. These images help guide the blade, and as it passes by you, just disappears and dissipates. And it's just with the swing, you hear the howl just fill the echo chamber. And if you look, you can see like one skull just kind of like rock in the little crevice. Perhaps the spirit of this fighter, this warrior that you have faced. in Calazan. Oh, the spirits have spoken. And for that, we acknowledge you. And for that, we recognize a plan is in motion. And for that, we will gather. I will do my best to bolster and signify that our packmates from beyond have come here to tell us to rise again. I will follow and do as you say. I will bring as many that are willing, but we have lived a life without rage in our throat and war in our blood.
Well then, perhaps we can summon that from deep within you for this great assault on the castle. Thank you, my pack brother, for your assistance. And one further inquiry. These spectral brothers, these spectral fallen packmates, how do you commune with them?
Here, in this chamber, have we sought to put our brothers' skulls, and with showing a sign of war and honor do we call from them and bring them to this land again. We are torn because they are free from this life, but we call to them for their experience.
Would you be offended if I attempted to commune with our packmates?
Like steps back. Elarius, you are strong of leg and swift of arm, and you speak a bold claim. I have never seen such bravery in a fellow packmate, especially one not of our dog-like stature. I do not know what Tazun would say.
I would also, I don't believe myself in a position to commune, but if there is a way I can pay tribute to those after us, I would like to.
By showing your prowess in battle, you will honor those before us. But that does not answer the question at hand. I am torn, and you can see he's really like bent out of shape about this. He's in no position to make these type of demands, these claims, but he sees that you guys bring such a huge power to the table. You're huge assets, so you feel like you have him, but he's uncertain.
Calazan, do you know what's happening next week?
Naraya is at its highest point, and we will gather again for our celebration, our yearly, our monthly sort of gathering of combat. We look forward to that.
And do you know what the enemies outside are planning? They will come in here with every soldier they have, everyone that they have created from the corpses of your friends, and they will come in here and kill you all. Did you know that?
I would call you out as a liar, but you are a packmate. So
not only that, I never lie. I don't see the point.
This does not bode well. We must rise. Elarius, what do you wish to do? With this information, we must retaliate.
You need to do it now and kill them before they kill you.
We have...
Elarius is smart. He's a clever leader. Should listen to him.
We haven't noticed that.
This is why we have approached you on this day.
And you find us within the Chamber of Spirits and Fallen Brothers. That is an omen for sure. What do you wish to do? Show me. Maybe I am not aware of what is possible.
To commune with the ancestors?
Yeah.
All right. Elarius will kneel, longsword resting across his thighs, close his eyes and focus. And what Elarius is reaching out for into space, into time, into the great beyond, is a connection to Paravas. Elarius suspects that the tales he has heard of Paravas may have changed over the eons. Maybe Paravas is a Gnoll. Maybe Paravas exists within the pack memory of these people. And so that is why Elarius is attempting to leverage the properties of this chamber to reach out and see if that is the common tie between the beast heart of the Vulpes Argentum and this pack.
Yeah, okay, so I will require the aid of other packmates. He looks towards you.
What would you have me do?
You must crush these. And he hands you these, like, they're almost like these giant, it's like refined sludge. It could be coal, but it's more viscous.
Okay.
You must extract the oils from these. They are within the walls and the crevices, and we have learned to use them. And he pulls out like it's like a fine metal shard, but super jagged. If you'd imagine like thorns all along this metal sort of like vein, but it's if we were to take it out, it's completely filled with like thorns, like little shards, but like needles, just totally pulled out, like sticking out. And he looks and perhaps, and he's not. You pick. We must use this gruthiel and mix it with this oil to make a compound for Elarius. It will not be easy, and it will not feel good.
You tell me. I take orders. I don't make them.
I'm prepared.
He's giving you the choice. Your damage is healed, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, that's also spectral stuff.
I will take the shard of metal.
Okay. The gruthiel.
Yes.
Okay, so I take the material.
The bulbous, oily orbs that... So, you must extract enough from each to make a compound. And hopefully you can withstand it. So you're gonna do your best to... You tell me strength to crush this stuff, or intelligence to pluck this stuff, but we're gonna use a stat of your choice.
Okay. Constitution to hold up against the disgusting, unpleasant goop.
Okay, go ahead, roll that. What are you gonna do?
So, extracted from the sample or extracted from the room?
Shard. You're like trying to pluck out gruthiel needles from this large metal piece, and enough to mix with as much as he can muster to make a compound for Elarius.
Can Arquria use her wisdom to tie this back to what little she's learned from the 214th and from her time with the Heat?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to roll, but it's concealed. Love it.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, natural 1 on this one.
Oh.
I see a single digi over there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not doing any better, but you know.
Ooh, this could be the moment.
So this is childhood, right?
Mm-hmm. Arquiria's childhood.
Arquria recalls being bullied by her Gnoll family. Sorry, not her
This is a
half-orc
reveal.
family. Her half-orc family for being lithe and slender and for not having a lot of tone.
Well, you'd have 2 different parents, right? Unless you were adopted by other half-orcs.
Well, the orc side of her family. The orc side of her family bullied her.
So the other half is undetermined.
Her other half ditched her.
You don't know.
Well,
It could be gnolls. Could be elves. Could be. We don't know. You don't know what the other half is.
You know what? Fair play.
I'm doing a Punnett square.
Maybe some big G, little G.
Before we continue, are gnolls recessive or dominant?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with recessive here.
Anyways, she was bullied by the orc half of her family for being lithe and for being of inconsequential strength and weight. So she is thinking of the ways that she had to outsmart and essentially mentally maneuver her way around her what her family would consider her betters, simply by thinking outside the box, even though they use strength to address every issue that she had.
A beautiful, well-told childhood story. Go ahead, re-roll. Let's see if it works to your advantage here.
Let's see if it does.
Even lower. I love it. So what does this say about your family's...
Where's the thing? Where's the...
the Oriss. Yeah, you tapping into that thing?
Wow. God.
How is it?
Well, I mean, we could just fail this.
Yeah, it's up to
this
him.
thing.
Is that
Wait.
still in play?
Yes, it is.
Since we're simultaneously doing this, I want to pause and say, what are we going to do out of 1? Are we going to roll for the outcome? Because I remember a very funny one in which we rolled the Oracle and got such a bad outcome that it was actually good for us.
Oh, yeah, this isn't an Oracle roll. This is a
it
straight up critical fail.
Yeah, but what would be the result? Like, it just insta-fails completely or kills me, or what? I mean, like, what would be the one part of the...
Right,
the
so you're trying to extract this oil from this, strange, like, rock glob. So, yeah, this is a painful thing for each of you, so it'll be a severe result.
Oh, okay, I see.
Double damage, or whatever, you know?
Right.
If you choose to accept that. Are you... I mean, we have two simultaneous rolls unfolding. You're halfway in between your luck roll to re-roll, and you've just propositioned rolling the Oriss, which is totally fine. I just have to find if you actually want to roll it, but if you re-roll your... it's a round. I'm totally unprepared.
I'm just over here. I'm trying to reach out to Paravos. And I'm growling, even though I look very calm and collected. I'm growling. I have no idea what's going on over there.
Let's not make you do any work, Alex.
I mean,
I'm joking. Let's... Yeah, you know what? I will take the 3.
You're going to take the 3?
I mean, for an Oriss roll, it could just be re-rolling.
Otherwise,
Another
this is where
D20,
it stands, Mark, as an update for you.
Wait, what?
The Oriss has had many new powers unlocked.
Oh, good. Oh, the goblin in me says push the last button, but God.
That's what the other goblin said too.
It revealed your other...
Oh, that's no surprise to any of you. We all knew this before. Oh, good grief.
So it has many new powers. It also has all of its current charges slots filled.
-1.
Yeah, -1.
You could do a half Oriss roll.
To put you in this position as well too. Last you left the Oriss, you filled it up completely, and now you return with it almost filled again with new powers unlocked. And
give it to me. Give it to me. I need to find out what happens here.
Okay, while we're looking for the Oriss, Jagged Edge, is dreaming of a future in which longsword, spear, shield are flying and glinting amongst the undead, and he just cannot wait to be splitting some skulls once again. But in order to get there, apparently, Elarius has decided that he's got to talk to the dead or whatever. Jagged Edge isn't quite sure what's going on, but he's got to try and help out. So here he goes to roll.
Jeez.
And 13, so 15.
So you used your luck token. Finally. It's been a while since we played. Everything's out of fucking place.
So 15 on that. I used
Great.
the luck token.
Okay, great. You take 5 damage. from extracting it and just gums up your used constitution, right? So it's just, it's like so dense. It's just, despite being this like gooey, oily blob, does it take a lot of endurance from you to like actually extract, a little drop. So you just muscle through that with this hope for the future that you had. Meanwhile, we've had Arquria in this moment of extracting Ruthiel. So I will admit, before you reveal that, as you use the Oriss, you have a vision of Miss Biggs and her distant family. Seems that there's a thread of some sort of hope for the future, if you will, not to draw upon this luck token, but you see various aspects of Miss Biggs's lineage, family, desire that could have been brought to the present, but has been foregone. So, all this to say, you choose to re-roll, I assume, for one charge.
Yes.
Fully charging in the Oriss to another new level.
7 campaign ends.
I was gonna say, what a way to come back to the table.
Yeah.
That'll be a 14.
That'll be a 14. Great. Okay, so for you as well, you take 5 damage. This is actual real damage as you, as you extract a needle of Gruthiel. Does it burn and singe and almost just like draw blood like a needle over the fine plucks that you draw from this little shard, and you're plucking a bunch, and like, you know, in combination with Jagged Edge, do you find some of it and, you know, mix it, and you see that it sparkles and makes that like black sludge with silver specks. So, but the Oriss has given you this vision of a desire that would fulfill Arquria.
Oh, Arquiria's going home, and it's only the first session.
It's not undo a choice you made in the past. It's fulfilling you. What would fulfill Arquria in this current time, in this current state? And it also levels up the Oriss as well.
To immediately vanish.
What? The thing that would
If you want to discharge it.
the thing that would fulfill Arquria at the moment would be knowing what's happened to Galavan.
You should have said taking over the castle.
It's uttered, he uttered it.
Yeah. Instantly.
Yeah, wait, and an addendum. No, what happened to Galavan? And taking over there.
While standing in the middle of the castle with all the dead.
So, what happened? Elaborate. This, you haven't discharged it. It's just now, and it also shows, should you choose to discharge the Oriss, it would forego any of Miss Biggs's desires.
Oh, gosh.
Does it have to be done now, in this moment? And also, wouldn't that cancel the roll?
It would.
You already took the roll, right?
Should you choose to accept it?
Oh.
I've already kind of elaborated on what would end up happening, and you would take 5 damage and stuff, but we could add more to that if you chose not to accept it. The Oriss levels up as well, too.
So Arquria knows that if she takes this, she will screw over another person.
Yeah. It would disregard Miss Biggs's desires that were shown and illustrated in this Oriss, and it seems to be like gaining in people's influences and desires that use it, and is giving people the opportunity to pursue them and manifest them and allow them. Walk us through what you're thinking.
What Arquiria's thinking, or
Yeah,
what I'm
both.
thinking?
Start with Mark.
Oh, Mark is thinking, I am so friggin' sorry, Nick. Holy crap. Arquria Arquria is just... She is so confused. She wants to figure.
Well,
You
practically
know what?
speaking, yeah. Sorry.
I do not accept what the Oriss has to say.
As you go to accept it, or disregard it as well too, it also shows you that in this fulfillment, you would be able to bolster your own lineage and gain the powers of a primordial cyclops. You would lose the ability to speak, gain one eye, but gain the power to create material objects with your signs. It would fulfill your immediate material desires.
And it fulfills her background one of being weak.
Go on, elaborate on that. Tell us more about that.
She has always been bullied for being weak. She nearly failed out of her academy studies for being weak. She took twice the amount of time required to pass that. She has been degraded as a warrior. She was lucky by the skin of her teeth to get a job as a warrior. And go figure, of course, it's for the 214th. It's for a mission. It's for a religion. So, like, she's been trying her best to muddle through with what she has, but it's always gnawed at her that she's supposed to be this and she does not have the tools to fight, at least not as effectively as most.
So with this struggle, are you faced with the immediate problem of extracting this Gruthiel in order to complete the compound for Elarius to further tap into his deeper connections to a myth, symbol, icon from his own story to perhaps gain an alliance with? But if you don't choose to accept this reroll, you won't be able to extract this immediately. Probably fail outright, but you would gain the primordial powers of the progenitor Cyclopses.
Wait, so if I disregard it, I will...
No, it sits in stasis. It's always an option, but now is the time to decide. You could revisit this unless someone else were to override it or choose to disregard it.
All right, so clarify this. If I disregard it, then...
This Oriss is going to level up again. It's going to have all these charges and have a new power unlocked, further tempting whomever to continue to use this Oriss. Your option is now a slot within there. So if Miss Biggs were to choose hers, you would lose that. It's a race. It's a vie for one's own desire to gain what they truly need. There'll be another tier unlocked, more opportunity to use the Oriss. But if someone discharges it to claim whatever options on the table.
So if it's discharged, then outside of the Oriss, Elarius gets the material to help with the communion.
Yep.
And
the reality that we're faced with of you trying to solve the extraction of the Gruthiel happens.
And Arquria gets the two things: the lifelong dream of having the strength of the Cyclops, and knowing what finally happened to Galavan.
If you chose it, yes.
If I accepted it.
But it would disregard the moment of what's happening right now. It would stumble that. Fail probably outright.
Wait, it would fail.
This whole Perivas attempt to commune with the spirit of Perivas could possibly fail outright because you have failed to extract the Gruthiel.
So disregarding it means that it will succeed.
It will succeed. If you disregard the Oriss, I might have misspoke there. You choose the Oriss, the moment doesn't happen. You disregard the Oriss, the moment happens successfully.
So in other words, take the roll. Take the re-roll.
The 15 re-roll that accomplishes the extraction of the Gruthiel, yes.
Okay, cool, because I thought that accepting it was getting the...
So either take the roll and pass the thing.
I'm sorry, if you choose to disregard the power of the Oriss that it's offering you, you would discharge all of the charges on the Oriss, accept the power, imbue yourself with this option that has now been presented to you, but it does not allow the 15 to happen. You fail that roll. You let the Gruthiel harm you, and this ritual is deemed a failure.
Arquria is willing to be patient. Arquria feels connected to these strangers that she's just met.
They did show you Vigilant and the sword with a symbol on it that radiated something inside you, or at least was a shining light in this darkness of this strange new world that everyone's disregarding your claims about. You're not that crazy. Clearly there's a symbol that is radiated within you.
Despite her impatience and despite a deep hurt within her, she will, in fact, disregard the Oriss, accept the 15, and support the mission of getting Elarius commune. She believes that she will find out what happened to Galavan eventually, and that these are people who would support that mission as well. So she declines it.
So it remains in the Oriss, floating as an option. Miss Biggs, in her advice for the future, desires to bring forth what she wants to the present. Arquria and her quest for Galavan, in her desire for power, and the ability to accept the primordial Cyclops' power and literally sculpt reality in front of her, sits within the Oriss, floating in a cosmic goo of time manipulation. And we return back to our scene. The Gruthiel is accepted, extracted, and Elarius has his compound. You guys successfully do it. You managed to overcome this. And you administer, mixing the Gruthiel and the ooze liquid. For you, Elarius, you are now within this ritual. Talazar tries his best to help you. You have done well. You thought hard with that Gruthiel, Arquria. You were faced with a very, very powerful choice.
Yep.
This metal is what the undead captors mine deep within that castle. It is the heart and the veins of where this castle sits. Just looking at this is the bane of our existence, but we use its power to channel ourselves, to speak beyond the grave. We imbue it with this oil, and now you will use it upon your body. You do not have a snout like we do, but you have a throat. You have a forehead. You will cover yourself, but with every wipe will bring you extreme pain and discomfort. Should you survive, you'll be able to speak beyond the grave.
Such is the place of a warrior. I am ready.
He starts applying it to you, and you can just, like, it cuts to your, like, bones. It just burns. So here's what we're gonna do. We're each gonna roll a d6. If you can survive the table's rolls, you will survive the ritual. Agreed?
Agreed. What exactly is happening here? What's the mechanic?
We're just rolling for damage.
It's going to be combined 4d6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Any thoughts, additions, addendums, arguments, counter propositions? I will play the part of Kalazan, and he asks the aids of his fellow packmates.
Do Garuda's bone dice help me here at all?
Hell yeah! Tell me how.
As part of
I guess the actual, like, we're rolling for damage out of game, but like we're not rolling for damage in game. But go ahead, so speak your mind.
I don't know, thinking back to the choice that Elarius had to make with Garuna's chicken that was in poor condition and the game for its life that was played with the bone dice. And in fact, in reaching in to grab the crushed flowers originally to do his first coat of paint, his fingers brushed against those dice. And I don't know, perhaps that filled him with resolve and purpose.
Yes. I'm just trying to tie the meta with the material because I want to roll damage with disadvantage.
Oh, well, that's very interesting.
Right. But
All right.
tell me about how these bones come into play. Tell me more about these bones specifically. Remind me. We don't know what these bones are, do we?
They were presented from Garuna during the
Right,
game.
but what are the bones?
What?
With bones of
actually-
what? Yeah.
Oh, presumably one of the chickens that she slew.
But wouldn't you know? They're Gnoll bones. They're Gnoll bones.
Interesting.
Okay, so you bring out these Gnoll bones, and they seem to have been returned to the very spot that they belong in turn. Yeah, so I will roll with disadvantage. We will all roll with disadvantage. And I keep getting the word. We want Dazun, but Kalazan is here. He's going first, and he had missed it. We'll go around the table. 4 damage as it burns. Well, give us a play-by-play of your hit points. You're at full hit points. How much life do you have now?
12 hit points remaining.
12 hit points. You have a chance if we all roll the average.
All right, so
Jagged Edge, what do you do?
Jagged Edge steps up and just looks at him right in the eye, grabs his arm, like shoulder, bolster him with one hand, and with the other hand. So where did you apply the first?
Like to his face, like war paint style.
Okay, so on his cheeks?
Yeah.
All right, so Jagged Edge is gonna take some and draw kind of like a design on his forehead.
Burns for 1 damage.
Some wincing.
Be further empowered to speak. She draws it on his throat.
3 damage. What are you at?
I have 8 hit points remaining.
Geez, you rolled 6, right?
Yeah.
So, as you burn the final, paint on his throat, go ahead. We'll roll for this as well, too. Let's see the result. 2. So the bones, the Gnoll bones themselves, like glow with the numbers, almost metaphorically to what we're doing out of game here, and you can just see like spirits of the Gnoll like manifest in the chambers, and some of the bones, little spirits, go to the empty alcoves in which there's no skulls present, as if they were waiting for their return. And you just feel yourself like burning with just like the power of speech beyond the grave, with vision of sight beyond the grave, and with like a mask to allow you to traverse into the other realm. And even Kalazan is like he steps back, and he's just like, he's at shock at what is going on here.
Can we all see all of this?
It's all happening, yeah. Oh yeah, it's. Do you see the spirits?
It's present, yeah.
It's present, it's working.
Mm-hmm.
Here, how about this? For every question you want to ask, we will roll damage at disadvantage. How much life do you got?
6 hit points remaining.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So, with all this happening around, Elarius perceives this sort of spectral realm, would you
Yeah,
say?
the alcoves, you can see the heads appear, and you just pierce beyond this mortal realm and see beyond.
Paravas, can you hear me?
Roll for damage. 4. You hear it's like a twisted voice. Someone calls to me, a brother, a better, a backmate. It has been too long. I have lived in this prison far too long. I feel you. I feel my brothers.
Make statements.
Now you're thinking. Does this thing work? Ow!
Is this thing?
You're right.
We assault the castle within the week. I just wanted your blessing.
Sounds like a veiled question. Do I have your blessing? So we'll start with the first statement. We assault the castle. My teeth have never seen the light like this, for I smile the grin of a 1,000-year demon. I am trapped in the very depths of this place, in a floating prison suspended in rock. There is but several binds that hold me. Should you destroy them, I can join this fight. Remind my remaining brethren that Naraya, the northern moon, is when we celebrate our strength. But remind them that it is not in secret. What are you guys doing?
What are we seeing?
Oh man, like his body, like he's speaking, but you don't hear anything. You can see like his throat moving, his mouth moving, but you don't hear anything. It's like garbled, like twisted, like
Hilarious.
yeah, and it's almost like poltergeisty, almost, or like he's like out of body experience, and like his veins are raging in like a deep red blood, like lava is flowing through his veins, and he's just like holding himself together, but like with every utterance, his like fiber of his being is like tearing. You can see like his skin like ripping apart, and like Calzan is like, this is a brother. Like he you look at it, like he's almost like weirdly so into it. Yeah, like this is, yes, keep going. You know, like troublingly so.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
Calzan.
Oh, he's not. He's like, what? You go ahead, try, but like, you know, he's in it.
We cannot afford him to die.
I agree.
Calzan, stop this ritual.
Locked in.
Do you have any water?
I do not. I do have a crowbar.
And I'm skilled in. Whack.
Non-lethal.
What are your hit points at? 2. Okay. Where are you at in terms of what you want to do? I'm waffling on your blessing question. I'm giving you another opportunity, but if you choose to accept it, we're definitely gonna roll. Otherwise, I'm giving you.
think I need to stick with the vagueness of the statement and not press my luck here.
Okay, so what are you gonna do then? You feel the fabric of your material being unraveling at
So perhaps
every.
in his distant consciousness, he sees us kind of like in slow motion talking, and then I'm turning
that.
to Kalazan. Yeah.
It's like muffled and we have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I turn to him. So, in this indecision and uncertainty, he's gone back to his original guiding principle, which is that the mission must succeed. So, Jagged Edge always takes orders, but above all, he must achieve the mission.
Of?
Whatever it is. And in this case, Elarius' death would fail the mission. So he begins to run directly at him.
I handed the crowbar in solidarity. I handed
Take
the
this.
crowbar in solidarity.
What are you trying to do? Like just tackle him?
Just try and do something to get him out of it.
Sure. Okay.
But I'm not necessarily going to do it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I could see you kind of ready to intervene.
Yeah.
Well, depends how this all unfolds.
I will actually start leafing through a prayer book of Geet, which she has never done. But
nice.
this, she feels like maybe there can be something useful in there for her.
Curious to
Let's
what
do
you
the
find in
slow
this.
motion. So opening the book and a gust of wind just coming by and rifling the pages.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hilarious.
Thank you, Paravas. We will free you. And then disengages.
Make a wisdom check to disengage. If you fail, the ritual has a hold on you.
Okay.
You need a 13 or higher. What's your roll? What's your bonus?
-2.
Nice. 2, 0. He's struggling. What do you do?
Oh, man. Let's see. The only thing I have any good in is Constitution. Does it seem like we can interfere?
Yeah. You're not sure what the ramifications of that might be.
Would I find anything related to exorcism or related to some sort of spiritual intervention in the Book of Prayer?
It sounds like an oracle roll.
It does.
17. Yes, but. Give me a but.
Oh, one of us?
Yeah, I'm going to open up the floor.
So the question was, find anything related to exorcism. Okay.
Yes, but.
But
3, 2, 1. It'll
it's-
transfer it to somebody else.
Okay. Wait, it'll transfer the intervention to somebody else?
Yeah, like take them out of it, but this needs to go somewhere. It's like it's not a foolproof silver bullet.
Oh, good grief.
But is he taking damage from staying?
I'm giving you guys the opportunity to intervene. If you want to physically intervene, now's your chance. He seems to have a prayer book that's gonna do like pseudo ritual. This is a moment, not quite a spell. Maybe it's gonna work, but yes, there's something in there related to exorcism. But it's gonna transfer it.
All right, so here's another one. I've never used this before and I wanted to.
Okay.
Ramlat, the goddess, I think, of chaos, is who Jagged Edge has an affinity with.
Okay. Nice.
And so he, wants to tap into this. So we can do maybe another oracle roll. Does Jagged Edge know how to, almost kind of mind lock in a spiritual way with someone who's in a trance?
I'm gonna roll this at disadvantage.
Okay.
Given your position. So disadvantage is 9. So no, but. No, but.
All right, sorry. So what does it do again?
So Ramlad is just his deity.
But
of
what's the
chaos.
question again? Does
So-
he know how to mind lock in
And
this?
spiritually, kind of like chaotically, intervene.
Yeah, so he doesn't. Jagged Edge does not know.
But he does know how to amplify that effect with somebody else.
Nice.
Okay. So
instead of going to Elarius, you're like, let me mind lock with you in your prayer book. Like,
yeah, or maybe you tell me, all right, so I see what you're doing.
right, exactly.
We've got to break him out of this.
We do. We risk sending it to somebody else, though. Is that a risk we're willing to take?
We have no choice. We maybe have some choice.
I do want to confirm. We do see that, like, he is dying, essentially dying before very.
Oh yeah, like the sinews and fibers of his being are unraveling, and like his veins are like bursting, like air balloons.
Calazan's into it. Let's transfer it to Calazan.
I agree.
Calazan must be the one to take the burden.
And he's not even aware of what's going on here.
This very long conversation.
It's kind of like happening at, yeah. It's all unfolding. Because I'm giving you a chance to resolve this, however, and if it fails, he's gonna roll damage.
All right.
So
Let's do this.
All right, I'm gonna be the chaotic conduit. So I'm running over and I grab his arm.
I lay my hand on his
grab
forehead.
Calazan.
All right, you're gonna make a wisdom check with advantage because of him helping you in this. You're gonna need a 15 or higher. That's a 9.
And that's an 11, so no. Oh!
That's an 8.
No. That's not doing that. That's 10. That is not.
All right, so what's the prayer?
Wait,
Yes?
can I do it at disadvantage?
No, because you gave him advantage.
Oh, come on, disadvantage.
I mean, there's the Oracle, the Oriss.
Oh, has it reset?
There's another tier now in this new power.
Okay. How does that work?
So it would be something with 5 uses, which was a whole freaking row.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's crank this thing.
That's odd not coming from me, but let's do it.
So you're re-rolling any die.
Okay, so I'm doing the. I'm just gonna put like.
Yeah, I gotta get.
Tier. So okay. Out of 10.
Right.
Okay, so so it's just gonna re-roll this, or we
Correct.
take this number. Oh, I didn't even do it on the right side.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. We'll just say
Wait,
I didn't do it on the D20 side,
okay.
but I guess considering that we're using it. Oh,
Natural 1 is exactly what you guys needed in this moment right now to completely bungle it beyond belief. Here's what happens. You feel the fiber of your being unravel. You see this vision of some spectral force in this like suspended shard, in this imprisonment. It's hanging on this floating rock, like the rock wants to float away, but it's like chained to the ground. And this whole thing is submerged within the depths of a castle. And you see the spirit of this Parivas trapped within it, and then your whole just kind of rips and shatters. And I'm just curious, you're not going to take this damage, but roll for damage at disadvantage. I'm just curious to see. This is not going to take effect. So you would have taken 2 damage, which would have eviscerated you. But instead, do your wounds heal, and you see this shard, this force that has taken you over just like into the center of this. You see these 2 figures clutching hands and a prayer book, and Calazan looking on, and just like a starburst, just and like you're all reeled back, and that's when the torch goes out. Who knows how much time later, a small little bit of light, candle light almost, is lit. And you're all on the ground. Whacked, blasted, thrown back. And Calazan's there. I know you need to see. And he sees has like a little match lighting like this little thing. I found, a little candle or whatever, like in your presence. I do not know how long we've been unconscious for, but we have been in here for quite some time. And you find yourselves in the chamber of this memorial hall, this chamber of spirits. And the last thing you recalled was something just in like each of you, Calazan as well. And it like extinguished the light, like absorbed the torch, but the burst of the starlight was enough to kind of see this in the darkness. And before you know it, lights out. Until it all unfolded and the lights came back up. What do you do?
Elarius will relay the vision.
As I'm trying to get back on my feet, find
Pain, everything hurts. Even you speak, trying to get your voice, it's like you haven't spoken for 1,000 years, like dust and dryness in your throat. And as you rise to get to your feet, your bones ache with 1,000 years of being imprisoned. What do you do, Arquira?
Cast the book aside. That's the last time I'm using this.
As you cast the book aside, you're like with 1,000 years of just the weight of the book just takes over your strength. Calazan looks over you all. You struggle like newborn.
And you?
My life is nothing but pain and suffering. That is the life of a gnoll. But I sense a newfound vigor. Do you not? Where on yourselves would you notice like a BB mark? Like a welt?
Shoulder.
Okay. Palm?
Maybe through my ear.
Nice. We'll talk about that one later. Okay, so where on Calazan do you notice a welt? You guys can agree in consensus.
Directly on his forehead.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm down for this.
Okay. You all notice it, but he doesn't recognize it at all. But clearly, there's like a. You all act like newborn, painful. Do you need my help? And he's doing his best to pull you up. And you notice he was regained his vigor, but now you notice it's even more. Like he could pull 2 arrows back. He could leap tall bounds.
What happened to you? You look like you've had a stiff drink.
I am nothing but thankful for the spirits before us. And to see you here as fellow packmates, am I invigorated. I cannot believe your idea worked. Thazun will be quite proud.
Thazun? I thought Thazun was gone.
Oh, I have a newfound hope that we
Oh no, I
will extract him.
misremembered.
Oh, yes, he is captured.
Right.
Elarius is looking at his palm. And then draws the longsword and just kind of gives a little flourish. Feeling it out. Just...
Deft and skillful.
Yeah, but that's my baseline.
Something about it is a little bit more.
You
a
just
little
open
bit,
your palm and it's spinning around.
right.
How do I feel with my longsword?
Shrug.
Yeah, precise and vigorous.
Something that she's never had before.
So Jagged Edge tidies up his hair and brushes against this hole in his ear.
Suave and cool.
Oh, charisma +5.
Certainly. So something has happened here amongst all you. And not uncertain for now, but where do you guys want to go? What do you want to do?
I think we should take a break.
Yeah, whereas we sort of you can imagine this moment sort of resolving as you guys gather your senses. Clearly, it's like you guys have been through things and you guys experienced something together, and you're all walking out of this chamber silently and in solace, but at the same time renewed, restored. You have gained a sense of competence. You have imbued your hopes with the notion that there is a tie beyond the grave, literally. You have come here with a simple plan to gather the gnolls to assault the back entrance and have gained something far more. Arquria has been welcomed as a fellow packmate. You have attempted this ritual to communicate and manage to strengthen a tie to an aeons old mythological figure that was nothing but a story to you months ago, and now you have gained a solid connection to and try to figure out and suss what it actually is in terms of composition, makeup, intent, purpose, but clearly it exists in this castle at some point. So all of this seems underway. The first prong of your assault is creating ripples. Kalazan has taken the mantle of a de facto leader with Fazun's absence and has walked out of this chamber with our packmates speak truth. They have shown us things that we haven't even attempted to do, like going beyond our spirits and getting in touch with Perivas himself, the one that we've only heard about. And now to have a plan under our belts or cut out before us, that is worth pursuing. And what was the message you relayed from Perivas? What did Perivas tell you?
So many things.
So
that the strength of the pack was greatest during the height of Naraya, but it does not manifest in secret.
which is enough to bolster Kalazan to say, we must forego our cloistered combat ritual and take that passion to the front line. So securing for certain the uncertainty that the pack would listen or care to or want to. So imbued within Kalazan, have you bolstered your plan? You know, that was the one uncertainty. Yes, he's willing to, but they do this every time the moon is at its highest, the northern moon. So now to hear this from Perivas through a medium of yourself is huge. Let me actually pull out one of these too. I have found this in the middle of where we were standing.
Shall I?
Go for it.
This is the candle of the long midnight. Inky black wax that does not melt even when exposed to a prolonged flame. It smells of lavender. When lit, the concept of time stretches within the light's radius. Minutes become hours, hours become days, days become weeks.
Very interesting.
It's like the solidified essence of the things that have happened.
Interesting.
Very powerful.
I have some things I want to resolve. So walking out of the cave or the memorial hall, he looks to Jagged Edge very specifically and hands him very carefully his shield back. Your camaraderie and your friendship is appreciated.
You made good use of it.
And Elarius, thank you as well. I have an offer I'd like to extend. I am in charge of the protection of the members of the 214th and for whatever benefit it offers, being put on their rolls is a pact of protection from me to those who exist on it. Gallivan was on it, and that's why I'm here. And with your permission, I would like to submit your name to the rolls.
Okay.
I have joined many military orders. I will add this to the list.
This is my pact to you. This is my promise that you will be in my charge and in my care, and that you I shall defend to my last fiber. She takes out a large leather tome containing the names of many 214th members, some past, some present. Gallivan's name is written on the page.
It's the last name, like the
It is the
last
last
entry.
name. And directly below his name, he writes down Elarius, and he writes down Jagged Edge.
Jagged Edge is a little puzzled by this display, but seems pleased to be accepted in this way.
We are honored. Thank you.
Welcome.
As you exit this chamber and see the plan unfolding in front of you, before you exit the final sort of passageway of sorts, you feel like the ground itself like rumbling, like quaking, like tremendous earthquake of sorts, like something's rumbling, something big, a structure is moving, something beyond the exits, beyond this chamber, shifts with a weight of untold size and strength. But that's a fable for another table. With that, we'll end our session. We'll go through the bout of dealing experience points. What do you guys think? What do you feel? What's your position? What have you gained? What treasures, what valuables, what knowledge can you lay forth? Clearly, the biggest temptation on the table is the newfound powers within the Oriss, meant specifically for our new character at the table here, Arquria, or in the joint session, I should say.
But still, in the spirit of the 214th, I think that Arquria would nominate Elarius, particularly for the essence of selflessness and service to his Gnoll brethren, and in advancing their cause of seeing them free in such a poignant and deliberate way, accepting the shards, accepting the pain, accepting the near loss of his life, and for that, she would nominate Elarius to that cause of additional experience.
Exactly what I was going to say. Pretty much.
Word for word. Plagiarized it.
No,
Took a speech.
I was gonna say, hey, he credited it, so I mean...
It was a
it's
joint
unfortunate.
effort. That was he couldn't have done it without you. You guys
This is
rolling
true.
rolling damage at disadvantage.
I will nominate Arquria because A, there was the successful joining of the Gnoll Pack, but B, in a pacifist nature, which was creative and applauded.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think Arquria had a very strong, entrance at first, being such a kind of, listener, trying to find out more about who all these people were in these new areas, and then by the end, basically saving the day. So very, very important. So Jagged Edge, was here kind of watching, observing, obviously taking part in some way, but really kind of, learning from these two in their various ways. Leadership in different forms. Mm-hmm.
I would still nominate, the 214th would also still nominate Jagged Edge, particularly for devotion to Pack. Especially with regards to the quick thinking action of trying to get Elarius to disengage from the
Ritual.
and also from the camaraderie and the ties that he was building with me, with Arquria as the new member of the party. So I think that's also important to recognize.
Most valuable treasure. Physical, knowledge, or otherwise.
I mean, the knowledge that Parabos is real exists, the connection to Parabos.
Agreed.
I mean, that's the biggest thing for Elarius.
Yeah, oh, definitely. That's gonna make a big difference.
And Parabos was a Gnoll, maybe? I mean,
Possibly.
that's still
Undetermined.
up for debate.
Up for debate.
Yeah.
I was going to award 1 experience, since you guys were doing everything pretty baseline. But you're right, that is a huge 3-point experience. 4 experience for everyone, all around in tonight's session.
Beautiful.
And as you feel the knowledge and the strength growing within you, you can feel the fact that there is more ahead of you. This is one prong of your overall attempts to strike at the heart of the Sunken Castle. And yet, as you walk step by step, you do feel that ground trembling beneath you. Perhaps time for the Terra Slider, perhaps time for the skeletal diplomats to make their move. The prong of your attack starts with this effort within the memorial chamber, but where it ends up is a fable for another table. Thanks for watching this chapter of our ongoing fable. Drop a like if you enjoyed the episode, and let us know in the comments which stories interest you most. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and to stay connected, there are links to our Discord and socials in the description. We want to invite you to the next episode of Tables and Fables, and we'll be sure to save you a seat.